I've been talking about Crystron a lot this week. On Wednesday, I showcased my OTS Championship winning list, and on Friday, the different versions of the deck which you can consider. Links to both in the description. But today, I'm going to show you how to play them, by exposing most, if not all, of the combos you'll need to know to pick up this deck and start having success. But I'm not just going to show you how to play the pure version, but also some of the more popular variants too. Let's get into it. Our first combo is the one that has made this deck famous, and that's when you have Inclusion. So you'll activate Inclusion's effect, using its effect to search for Salvador from deck to hand. You'll then activate Salvador's effect, targeting the Inclusion, destroying it on resolution, and as well as summon itself on res. And then in the new chain, its effect is going to activate to send up to 2 Crystron cards from your deck to the graveyard. So our targets of choice will be Smyger and Crystron. From here, you need to use one of the effects to search. I feel as though it is better to use Crystron's effect to search, and we will go for a Thrustaros. We'll then normal summon the Thrustaros to our side of the field. This is just in case our opponent decides for some reason they fear Smyger and they decide to use a hand trap on it. We can then change the Thrustaros to get a synchro off. So we'll then use Smyger's effect to add the cluster from deck to hand. You want to special summon out Ellie Skelly using your 2 bodies, and then using its effect to add the banished Smyger to your hand. From here, in the open game stage, you want to use Thrustaros' effect to banish itself. To pop a synchro you control to summon 2 Crystrons from deck, we're going to go for 2 5s, which is our Self-Hafnia and Salvador. New chain, Ellie Skelly's effect is going to activate to summon out the banished Thrustaros. From here, you want to synchro summon into Dawn Dragster using Thrustaros and the Self-Hafnia. You then want to activate Self-Hafnia's effect, pitching the Smyger we added from banishment to hand, summon itself, pop itself, and then use its effect to summon another copy of itself. From here, you want to go into Nova, and then Infinity. Activate the Grave effect of Inclusion to banish itself to summon back up the Thrustaros to your side of the field. Set the trap and pass turn. So this looks kind of unassuming, but it facilitates multiple interrupts. So we obviously have the Omni negate and the Spell Trap negate. But if our opponent activates a card effect, we can then use Thrustaros to summon out a 5 and summon out a second copy of Dawn Dragster, which is not a hard once per turn, to serve as another Spell Trap negate. Alternatively, if we've used Dragster's effect, its level will reduce to 5, and we will use Thrustaros' effect to summon out another 5, and then we will... Sorry, not another 5, we will use its effect to summon out the Citri from deck, and then use the 2/2 plus the 5 to summon out Quarian Gandrax, which will allow us to banish 3 from our opponent's side of the field. We then have the cluster to spark 2 because we have control a Crystron synchro card. So yeah, it's a lot of interrupts. It's pretty good. It looks unassuming, but man, is this great when it pops off. Smyger by itself is also full combo, or as close as we can get. So you'll start off by normal summon the Smyger and you'll link it off to summon our Clockwork Knight. So even though Smyger has this effect where you can target a face-up card you control, destroy it, and then special summon a Crystron tuner from your deck, you could use this effect on itself to send it to the graveyard, but then you can't use its grave effect to banish itself to search, which is what we want to do. Unfortunately, this card has a restriction on it that places it so that you can only activate one of its effects per turn, not both. So that's why we trust Clockwork Knight. We'll then use Smyger's effect from grave, banishing itself to search for Inclusion. Something you need to remember about this combo is that we've already expended our normal summon. So we'll activate Inclusion, and like always, we will search for the Salvador. With Salvador in hand, we'll use its effect to destroy the Inclusion, summon itself, and then we want to pitch 2. In this case, we will be sending out Thrustaros and the trap. You want to activate the Grave effect of Inclusion, banishing itself to summon Thrustaros to your side of the field, and then you want to synchro summon into Ellie Skelly using your 2 bodies. Its effect will activate on field, allowing you to add the trap from grave to hand. You'll then activate Thrustaros' effect from grave, banishing itself, destroying the Ellie Skelly, summoning 2 5s from deck. 1, 2, to outside of the field. And then you chain effect of Ellie Skelly to summon out the banished Thrustaros to outside of the field. From here, you want to overlay into Nova using your 2 bodies and then immediately into infinity. Set Cluster to your side of the field, and then you want to activate Infinity's effect to suck Clockwork Knight. It sounds strange, but it has 500 attack and it's a big liability on your side of the field, so it's better to get it off than to leave it there. Foolish Burial is also full combo. We'll activate it to send Smyger from our deck to the graveyard. From here, you'll activate Smyger's effect to banish itself and add the Inclusion to your hand. You'll then activate Inclusion using its effect to add the Salvador from deck to hand. With Salvador in hand, you'll then activate its effect, targeting the Inclusion, and then on raise it will destroy and summon. New Chain effect to send 2. We will send the Thrustburn and the Trap from deck to graveyard. We'll then activate Thrustburn's effect, banishing itself to add Thrustaros to our hand. Normal summon Thrustaros, and then go into Ellie Skelly. Its effect will activate on field to add the Trap from grave to hand. You then want to activate Thrustaros' effect from grave, banishing itself, popping the Ellie Skelly to summon 2/5s to outside of the field, so Salfafnir, Salvador. Summon them both, and then Ellie Skelly's effect is going to activate to summon back out the banished Thrustaros to outside of the field. From here, we can then synchro summon overlay into Nova, and then into Infinity. Like before, we can activate Inclusion's effect to banish itself to summon a 5 to outside of the field, and with a 5 on our side of the field, we can now go into Quarian Gandrax during opponent's turn and then use Cluster to pop 2. Terror Top is full combo by itself and is the whole reason why we play the Speedroid package within this deck. So you'll start out by special summoning our Terror Top to your side of the field, use its effect on summon to search Takatombog, and then you want to special summon Takatombog in the New Chain. Then, or rather the open game state, then you'll use your 2 bodies to go into Cherubini, using its effect to send Smyger from deck to graveyard, increasing its attack. Banish Smyger from grave to search for Inclusion. Activate Inclusion to add your Salvador from deck to hand. You'll then use Salvador to pop the Inclusion to summon itself to your side of the field and send 2 Crystron cards from your deck to the graveyard. So you want to send a Thrustburn and your Trap. You'll activate Thrustburn's effect, banishing itself to add Thrustaros to hand. Normal summon Thrustaros, and you want to summon out your Ellie Skelly. Make sure you summon it underneath the Cherubini or to a zone it doesn't point to, because we need to destroy it to get its effect. Or rather to resolve Thrustaros. We'll then activate its effect to add the Trap from grave to hand. Then you want to activate Thrustaros' effect from grave, banishing itself to destroy Ellie Skelly, summoning 2 5s from deck. We're going to go Salvador and Salfafnir. New Chain Ellie Skelly's effect to summon back out your banished Thrustaros. From here, you would go straight into a Nova to the zone Cherubini points to, and then special summon Infinity over that. From here, you would activate Inclusion's effect to summon out the 5 from grave. Reason being is so that during our opponent's turn, if they activate a card effect, we can use the Thrustaros' effect to summon our Citri and immediately go into Quarian Gandrax, banishing 3, and then we still have the Cluster to pop 2. As surprising as it may be, Thrustaros by itself is pretty good. Well, the idea is if you only draw Thrustaros, the other 4 cards in your hand are probably going to be non-engine. So you'd normal summon the Thrustaros. If your opponent activates a card of effect, you would use its effect to summon out a 5 from deck, go into a Dawn Dragster, and then reinforce it with the 4 spell traps you have in your hand. Alternatively, you can go into Ellie Skelly if assuming your opponent is playing something that can chew through your board, or something that OTKs quite a lot, because then you can use this to reduce the attack of your opponent's monsters, which makes it hard to beat over, but also it has the effect when it's destroyed, you can summon back a Crystron from grave, so it blocks 2 attacks. Very weird scenario, but it is something that does come up from time to time, and it surprisingly works okay. In corner cases, Crystron can also get you something. So the way you'd go about this is you normal summon Crystron, activate its effect to pop itself, and then you want to summon out Thrustaros from your deck, just out of the field in defense position, and you would pass them from this position. It seems unassuming, but the idea again is that if you have Crystron as the only normal summon in your deck, then you're assuming that the other 4 cards in your hand are non-engine, which will slow down your opponent enough for you to get another turn. This will also become an spell trap negate by being able to go into Dawn Dragster, and then during your turn you can banish the Crystron, search Smyger, and then just do that combo. So your basic 1.5 card combo is when you open Self-Hafnir plus any other Crystron card. So you'll activate its effect to pitch the other Crystron card to summon itself, pop itself, and then use its effect to special summon out a Crystron from your deck. In this case we're going for Smyger. We will then link off into Clockwork Knight, use the effect of Smyger from grave, banishing itself to add the inclusion from our deck to our hand. You'll activate inclusion using its effect to search for Salvador. Salvador effect to pop the inclusion, summon itself to outside of the field, and then use its effect to pitch 2. In this case, we have not used our normal summon, so we'll be sending the Crystron and the trap. Activate Crystron's effect, banishing itself to add Thrustaros to our hand. Normal summon Thrustaros, summon out our Ellie Skelly, using its effect on summon to add the trap from grave to hand. Then you want to activate Thrustaros' effect, banishing itself to pop, and to summon out Self-Hafnir and Salvador from deck. Effect of Ellie Skelly is going to activate to summon out the banished Thrustaros. And then from here, because we've already used this boy's effect, we want to go into Nova, and then into Infinity. You can activate Infinity's effect to suck Clockwork Knight, and then we can activate the grave effect of Inclusion to special summon out one of our 5s or the 7. Like I generally prefer going for Kori and Gandrex, so I'm going to special summon out one of the 5s, in this case the Self-Hafnir. And then I am going to set one card, set the cluster, and pass. So 1.5 combo this deck has is if you open Salvador plus another Crystron. So in this case we have the Thrustaros, we'll normal summon it and we'll activate Salvador's effect to destroy it, to summon itself to outside of the field, and then you will use its effect to add to send the 2 Crystron cards from my deck to the graveyard. In this case, because we sent Thrustaros, we want to send the Inclusion, and we can then send Smyger from our deck to the graveyard. We'll then activate Smyger's effect to add the other Inclusion from deck to hand, and then we can activate this Inclusion to add the trap from our deck to hand. You'll then activate the grave effect of this to special summon Thrustaros. Something to point out is my sequencing was a bit wrong there, but you should get this to the field first before doing your Smyger search. Then you want to go into Ellie Skelly, summon itself to your side of the field. You can use its effect to add one of the banished Crystron cards. In this case, I want the Smyger for follow-up for next turn. You want to use the grave effect of Thrustaros to pop Ellie Skelly, summon out 2 5s from your side of the field, summon 2 5s to your side of the field. And from here, you'll use the grave effect of Ellie Skelly to special summon out the banished Thrustaros. From here, you can synchro into a Dawn Dragster using Thrustaros and the Self-Hafnir. And then from here, you want to use the grave effect of Self-Hafnir to pitch the Smyger, summon itself to your side of the field, destroy itself, and then summon out another copy from the deck. From here, you'll go into Nova, and then Infinity. Set the trap and pause turn. So we have a spell trap negate, an omni negate, and a way to pop something. So something you may have noticed, but this deck kind of has somewhat of a weakness to draw. But thankfully you can play through it assuming you draw Inclusion as your starter. So you'll activate Inclusion and you'll use its effect to search for Salvador as always. At this point, your opponent will roll you, so no more searches for you, but you can activate your Salvador's effect to pop the Inclusion to summon itself to your side of the field, and then you'll use its effect to send 2 cards from deck to graveyard. In this case, the 2 that we're going to send is Thirstaros and the Trap. We'll then use the Grave Effect of Inclusion to banish itself to special summon Thirstaros to our side of the field. And with the 2 bodies on the side of the field, we're going to synchro summon into Ellie Skelly. Ellie Skelly's effect is going to activate on summon to add the Trap from our grave to hand. And then we will activate the Grave Effect of Thirstaros, banishing itself to pop Ellie Skelly to summon out 2 level 5s from our deck. And then New Chain, Ellie Skelly's effect is going to activate to summon out the banished Thirstaros. From here, you want to go into Collect Placid, Nova, using your 2 bodies, and then Infinity. So it's not as great as our full combo without roll, but I mean, we're still able to get 3 interrupts through it, which is pretty good. I don't think there's many decks that can do that. So what happens if our opponent has Nibiru? Well, surprisingly, you can play this through it to some degree. Obviously not through a Nibiru plus a Vela, but it's just there in our hand, so we'll just pretend like it's not. So we'll activate the effect of Inclusion to search for Salvador. You'll then activate Salvador's effect to pitch the Inclusion, destroy the Inclusion, summon itself, and then activate its effect to send up to 2 Crystron cards from your deck to the graveyard. Like always, we will be sending the Smyger and the Thrisvern whenever we open the Inclusion. We'll activate Thrisvern's effect, banishing itself to add the Thirstaros to our hand. Normal summon Thirstaros. Activate the effect of Smyger, banishing itself to add the Trap to our hand. Then we will special summon out Ellie Skelly using our 2 bodies. Activate its effect to add the banished Smyger to our hand. From here, you want to activate the Grave Effect of Thirstaros to pop Ellie Skelly, summoning out Salfafnir and Salvador to your side of the field. And then you're going to use the Grave Effect of Ellie Skelly to special summon out Thirstaros to your side of the field. From here, your opponent will likely activate Nibiru, and you will have to then chain the effect of your Thirstaros. So we're going to summon out a 5 to keep the Citrian deck in case we need it later, but you can also summon out the Citrian and then synchro with one of your other 5s. We're going to go into Samurai Destroyer. Nibiru will resolve, summon itself to your opponent's side of the field, and then we get a big ass token to our side of the field. Since Samurai Destroyer was sent to the grave by opponent's card effect, we can activate its effect and we will summon back one of the 5s. We'll then activate the Grave Effect of Inclusion, banishing itself to summon out another 5 from our graveyard. And then from here we can go into Nova, and then Infinity. Most of the time your opponent is going to special summon out the Nibiru in attack position, but this part only works if they do. You will activate the effect of Infinities to then suck the Nibiru, and you'll then set 1 card face down. So through Nibiru we ended up on 2 interrupts. So what happens if our opponent shotguns Lancia? Well, this combo showcases how you can actually make some kind of play even through it. So you normal summon your Thirstaros, they would have obviously activated Lancia during the draw phase. You'll then activate Inclusion using its effect to add the Salvador from deck to hand. You'll then use Salvador's effect to pop the Inclusion, summon itself to your side of the field, and then you want to send Smyger for follow-up for next turn, and the Trap to grave. You'll synchro summon into Ellie Skelly using your 2 bodies, and then using its effect to add the Trap from grave to hand. Of course, there's not much we can do beyond this, so we'll set the Trap, and what we have is pop 2 because we control a Crystron Synchro monster. If our Ellie Skelly gets outed, we can summon back out the Thirstaros, which then gets us into another Synchro, assuming they activate a card or effect. Otherwise, it just blocks 2 attacks. So what happens if our opponent special summons Chaos Hunter against us? Well, it's a very specific combo, but we can get rid of it. In this case, we'll need a way to access Salfafnir and Salvador, plus have another Crystron to destroy or get off our field. So in this case, we don't have the Salfafnir, so we'll be pitching the Salfafnir. We'll then be using Self-Hapnia's effect to send the Salvador to graveyard, summoning the Self-Hapnia, destroying itself, using its effect to summon out another Self-Hapnia from deck. From here, you would normal summon or activate whatever Crystron card you would have, and then use the grave effect of Salvador to destroy that card, summon it itself to your side of the field, and then you want to send 2 Crystron cards from your deck to the graveyard for follow-up for next turn. In this case, assuming we don't have the Smyger, we will send Smyger and Crystron because that gives us the most follow-up. From here, you'll go into Nova, and then into Infinity. If they summon the Chaos Hunt in attack position, we can then use the Infinity's effect to get rid of it. Your Kashtira combo is a little specific. You need Fenrir plus a way to get to Unicorn, or Fenrir plus Birth, or Fenrir plus Planet. Basically, you need Fenrir plus another Kashtira card name. In this case, we happen to open Fenrir plus the Planet. So the way we would go about this is by activating the Planet. We'll use its effect to search for Unicorn. Since we control no cards on our side of the field or no monsters, we can special summon a Unicorn. And then activate its effect to search for Birth. Once Birth has been added to our hand, we can activate Birth. And then normal summon Fenrir because of Birth. From here, I will generally activate Fenrir's effect. We're already past the point of draw, so you're probably good if you got this far. And you want to special summon out Dracossack using your 2 level 7s. Activate Dracossack's effect to special summon 2 tokens to your side of the field. I would probably detach Fenrir because I think it is the better of the 2, or rather the more versatile of the 2, because it's another piece of removal. And you would then summon out 2 tokens to your side of the field. From here, you want to link away your tokens to make a Cherubini, using its effect to send Smyger from deck to grave as cost, increasing its attack. Activate Smyger's effect, banishing itself, and you want to add Inclusion to hand. Activate Inclusion, using its effect to search for a Salvador. Next, you're going to activate Salvador's effect, popping the Inclusion, summon itself on res, and send 2 of your Crystron cards from deck to grave. We've already used Smyger's effect, so you want to send Cluster as one of them. And in this case, because we have normal summoned, you want to send your Thrustaros to grave as well. You're then going to activate the grave effect of Inclusion, banishing itself to special summon Thrustaros from your graveyard. And from here, you want to synchro summon out Ellie Skelly using Thrustaros and Salvador. The important thing here to note is that you cannot special summon it to the zone Cherubini points to because you want to pop it via a card effect. So safest would be directly underneath Cherubini, and then you want to activate its effect to add the cluster from grave to hand. Then we will activate the grave effect of Thrustaros, banishing itself, popping Ellie Skelly, summoning 2 level 5s from deck. We'll go for Salvador and Self-Hapnia. And then the new chain, we will activate the grave effect of Ellie Skelly to summon back out Thrustaros. Overlay into Nova. In this case, we want to have protection, so we'll summon it to the zone Cherubini points to, as well as Nova. Set Cluster and activate Birth to summon back out the Fenrir we put into grave. And that's your Kashtira combo. Adventure Crystron has been gaining a lot of popularity lately, and it is pretty good, especially when you're paired with your Speedroid engine. See, the idea is that if you have already a way to get Inclusion or Inclusion in your hand, you can then use the Speedroid package to access your adventure line. So in this case, we'll special summon out the Teratopter out of the field, activate its effect on summon to search for Takatombog, special summon it to outside of the field, going into Cherubini. New chain, you want to activate Cherubini's effect to pitch the Water Enchantress from deck to grave, increasing its attack. You'll then activate the effect of the Water Enchantress, banishing itself to add Rite of Eremercia. You'll activate Rite, summon out the token to your side of the field, and then you place in Fateful Adventure to your Spell and Trap zone. From here, you would activate Fateful Adventure, pitching the other card you had in your hand to search for Wandering Griffin Rider. So in this case, we'll just say this was blank, but you'll send the Self-Hapnia. special summon out the Wandering Griffin Rider to your side of the field. We want to get our Omni Negate out before we access our Crystron line. And because we special summon something, we can then use Fateful Adventure's effect to equip Draco back to our token. So we'll search over here, we'll equip it to our token to our side of the field. We'll then activate Inclusion to search for our one and only. I say one and only, we're playing 2 copies of him, but we're looking for Salvador. Activate Salvador's effect, pop in the Inclusion to summon itself, and then you want to pitch 2 from deck to graveyard. So we'll send the Smiger and Thirstwind. Activate Thirstwind's effect, banishing itself to add a Tristaros from deck to hand. Normal summon Tristaros. Activate the effect of Smiger from grave, banishing itself to search for the trap. From here, you want to special summon out your Ellie Skelly, not to a zone that Cherubini points to, and then activate its effect to add your banished Smiger to hand. From here, you can activate Tristaros' effect to pop Ellie Skelly to summon out 2 cards from your, well, 2 level 5s, which is your usual targets of Salfafnia and Salvador. And then you chain Ellie Skelly's effect is going to activate to summon back out your Tristaros. From here, you can special summon out your Dawn Dragster using Ellie Skelly plus the Salfafnia. You'll then activate Salfafnia's effect from grave, pitching the Smiger you added from hand, summon itself to your side of the field, destroying itself, but it won't because it's pointed to Cherubini's zone, and you'll then special summon out Nova using your 2s, and then Infinity. Finally, you can activate the grave effect of Inclusion to special summon back out your Tristaros from grave, meaning that should your board clear after you've used the Wandering Griffin Rider's effect, you can then activate this effect to set up another negate. Set the cluster and pass turn. Azamina Crystron is a Crystron variant that has been declining in popularity lately, but it is still an engine that you can have a lot of success with. This combo showcases what it can do at its peak, so to speak. So you'll obviously need a way to get Black Witch to your hand plus Smiger. Normally, of course, a quick tip, if you open wanted, you want to fire this off during the draw phase so that you can play around roll. Although I don't believe this combo plays around roll, but it's just a good habit to be in. So anyway, we have Deabels, who will activate its effect to pitch the Smiger in hand, summon itself to outside of the field. I say effect, but it's an inherit summon to pitch, and then summon itself up. New effect on summon to search for Deception. And by search, I mean place to your side of the field. You'll then activate Deception, and then use its effect to send Deabels from your side of the field to add Hollowed Azamina to your hand. You then activate Hollowed, getting rid of your Deception, to summon out your Omni Negate to your side of the field. From here, you can banish Smiger to search for Inclusion. Activate the Inclusion to add your Salvador from deck to hand. From here, you'll activate Salvador's effect to destroy the Inclusion, summon itself to your side of the field, and then using its effect on summon to send up to 2 from your deck to the graveyard, which will be Thrustfern and the Trap. You'll use Thrustfern's effect, banishing itself, to add Thrustaros from your deck to your hand. Normal summon your Thrustaros, and then summon out your Ellie Skelly. You'll then use its effect on summon to add your Trap from grave to hand. Use the grave effect of Thrustaros, banishing itself to pop Ellie Skelly, summoning 2 5s from your deck to your side of the field. Where is the... there we go. Summoning both 5s outside of the field, and then using Ellie Skelly's effect to summon back out the Thrustaros from banishment. From here, you'll overlay into Nova. and then Infinity. Again, there's a few things you can do from here. You can use your inclusion to summon back out your LA Skelly, which allows you to get 2 pops because we have the cluster, or we can activate inclusion to summon a 5 and then you go into Quarian Gandrax and then the 2 pops. I'm going to go for the Quarian Gandrax play. So we'll activate the effect of inclusion, banishing itself to summon back out Salvador to the side of the field. And then I suppose you can activate Wander's effect, but for the purpose of this combo, we're not gonna. Probably your best Horus plays when you open Imseti plus Smyger. It's a very specific 2-card combo, but when it happens, it's pretty damn good. So you'll activate Imseti's effect to pitch the Smyger and itself to search Kingsock and then draw 1 on res. You'll then activate the Kingsock's effect and special summon out the Imseti to your side of the field. You'll then use Kingsock to pitch whatever you drew to grave to send your other Horus name from deck to grave. You'll then special summon itself to your side of the field, and then you want to special summon out the Galaxy Lord, which is monster negate that helps insulate your plays moving forward. You'll then activate Smyger's effect to banish itself to add the inclusion from deck to hand, using inclusion to search for a Salvador. Activate your Salvador's effect to pop the inclusion, summon itself to your side of the field, and then you will use its effect to send your Crystron and the trap from deck to grave. You'll then use Crystron's effect, banishing itself to search out your Thrustaros, normal summon Thrustaros, and then special summon out a LA Skelly. You'll use LA Skelly's effect to add the Crystron that you banished. No, I lied. You'll add the trap from grave to hand. And then you'll use Thrustaros' effect, banishing itself, popping your Synchro to summon out 2 level 5s from deck. New chain, LA Skelly's effects can activate to summon out your banished Thrustaros. And then from here, same as before, we should go immediately into a Nova because it is safer, and then into an Infinity. From here, again, there's 1 or 2 things you can do. You can use your a few things you can do actually. You can use your inclusion to summon back your LA Skelly, which means you have 2 pops off the cluster. You can also use this to summon back out your 5 to then go into a Dawn Dragster. Personally, I think considering we have a Spell Trap negate and a Monster negate, I would use the Inclusions effect from grave to summon the 5 to outside of the field. And then from here, I would set the trap, and then during our opponent's turn, it's the same as before. If they activate a card effect, we will use Shazar's effect to summon Citri, to go into Quarian Gandrax, banish 3, and then pop 2 later on. Horus acts as a pseudo starter in your deck because you can use it as a 1.5 card combo, assuming you drew Imseti plus something else, to sort of get your play started, but it does require some luck. So you'll start off by using Imseti's effect, pitching itself plus another card to search Kingsock, and then you're going to draw 1 on res. From here, you want to activate Kingsock and special summon your Imseti from grave to your side of the field. This is just in case our Ogre, if our opponent plays like Ogre to destroy our Kingsock, we can then proc the Imseti's effect to destroy something they control, assuming that they have it. We'll then activate Kingsock's effect to send the droll that we drew from our hand to grave, and then to send the Water Horus from deck to graveyard. I'm playing the Water Horus, but you can play whatever you want instead. We'll then special summon it to our side of the field, and then you want to make the Zombie Vampire. You can activate its effect to detach 1 material to mull 4. Probably safer to send the water in case your opponent has Bastials, but Imseti is better fallout for next turn, so you're going to have to get a read on your opponent to know which is better, but again, we're not picking. So we'll send 4. Did we get anything that we can use? It looks like we did, because we got a Salvador. So we'll special summon the Salvador to our side of the field, and then we will activate its effect to send 2 Crystron cards from our deck to the graveyard. In this case, it would probably be safest to send the Inclusion and the Crystron. We'll then activate Crystron's effect, banishing itself to add a Thrustaros to hand. normal summon your Thesaurus, special summon out your Skelly, use its effect on summon to add the banished Thirstbone to hand, activate the grave effect of Thesaurus to pop your Skelly, summoning 2 level 5s from deck. Okay, and when they hit the field, you can then you should activate the effect of Skelly in the new chain. I got a bit ahead of myself there. To special summon out your banished Thesaurus. From here, you can go into a Nova, using your 2 5s, and then into Infinity. If you'd like, you can leave the Thesaurus as is on your side of the field, or you can activate the inclusion from grave to special summon 1 of your 5s. I generally wouldn't go into a Dragster just because I don't have a pop because I don't have the trap card. So I'd special summon this. If my opponent activates card or effect, I would then use Thesaurus' effect to summon out the Citru from deck and then go into Quarry and Gandrax. So yeah, that's how with a bit of luck Horus can get your play started.